You see, most founders that I know, they work extreme hours. They are extremely busy. They're working on their business. And at the same time, they're not being effective. And I know that because I am one of those founders and I've been having that problem for a very long time. I started a web design agency about a couple of years ago, and it was actually a great experience because I learned a lot. But I found myself working hours and hours and hours and hours, and I was genuinely doing work. Answering emails, sales calls, I was doing real work and measuring real progress. The problem was that I was not being effective. And you see, those two problems, I've seen them too often in founders. And I've managed to figure out the reason. The reason is that those two problems coexist because they are related. See, when you're busy and you're not actually measuring your work, you have the problem that if you're building something, you get lost in the sauce, right? Even if you've got a team that keeps you accountable, most of the time you still don't really know what you should focus on right now and what is the progress of the things that you've done and the things that you need to do in the future or right now. Tasks that you've left, tasks that maybe you've left half done. That sort of thing. There's not really something that helps you understand what is the situation right now and how can that affect in the future to your business. Working as a design agency, I was exactly in that position. And it got so bad to the point where I had to close the agency. I had to close the agency. And I had to go back to my house and start all over again. You see, this problem is an existential problem for all founders. Not just programmers, not just app builders, not just e-commerce. Every single brand owner has this problem. Because here's the thing, productivity is an output. Very simple. You put in hours and you see what you get in the results. But effectiveness, it is an output with real progress. Focus on the right thing. So it's pretty similar, but the difference is gigantic. The problem, of course, is that you put in the hours. The hours are there. What's missing is the focus. The focus is missing. And the focus is what keeps the needle going. It is the wheel that pushes your business forward, not the hours themselves. And what's worse is that when you are not effective, when you're not doing what you should be doing, nobody tells you. When you're in that position, there's no real way of someone, even your teammates, even the people that you work with, your boss, nobody tells you that you're in that position and that you are essentially wasting your time. So why does this happen? Why is it that extremely smart founders who have real businesses fall into this trap? Well, there's three reasons for it. Number one is that they don't have one clear task. They wake up every morning and they get to work and they get into the zone, and there's no clear hierarchy of the tasks, their priority and what needs to be solved. Because maybe there's one task that is extremely important and that is crucial, but it's gonna take a lot of work. And maybe there's another task which is also important, but it's gonna take just a couple of hours. Maybe that one task that is short, that gets overlooked by the extremely long task, is actually better to execute at that same moment than the very long task that's gonna take days of work. There is no clear hierarchy on the targets and the tasks that they must do to keep their businesses running. The second is their work environment. You see, your environment is the clear reflection of the things that you're going to achieve. It is a clear representation of where you're gonna go and where you're gonna end up. And even if you're doing lots of work and you're being extremely productive, your environment may not reflect that, and at the long run, it will show. The cracks will always show. So your environment must be superb. It must be clean. Because your environment is how you work. where you work, and the way that you do it, your habits. And if it's not cleaned, just like this bush, right? Just like this house, if it's not clean and properly groomed, it will not grow. And you need things that protect that environment. It's not going to defend itself. And you yourself, you're flawed. We are humans and we are flawed. So we might not be able to protect our environment. And we need something external to come in and make sure that our environment stays clean. And the third one, which is the one that most people don't want to admit, right? Most founders, we don't want to admit that. But the truth is that we're not measuring. Stats win, always. Stats is what proves that something is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Numbers don't lie. And you need to be measuring how you're working. As a founder, it is extremely important, it is crucial. How is it that you're measuring all of your business and all of the stats, but you're not measuring yourself? How are you working? It is crucial because you are the full intelligence. You are the brain of your business. You are the head. And if the head is not measuring how it is doing its work, then how is it going to end up? Not in a good way, let me tell you. And this is exactly why I built Vision. It's not because I read all these problems in a book. No, it's because I lived them. When I was building my design agency, even though I didn't have a team, that makes that even more important and even more difficult because there's nobody that can keep me accountable. And if no one can keep me accountable, not even myself, right, not including myself, I need to bring something from outside that's going to keep me accountable. And that's going to make sure that my environment and everything around my work gets done. And Vision works like this. Every single day, you log in into your targets and you get the real hierarchy and the real visualization of how you're doing, how your business is doing, and how your tasks are doing, the ones that are assigned to yourself or to your teammates, whatever. You get a real sense of how everything is going. And then Vision is going to tell you, based on what are your preferences and what are your objectives, which tasks you should execute. And you lock it into a session and you execute it. Simple as that. And that session is going to protect your environment and make sure that you are working. And after that session ends, you get every single stat, every single piece of information gets measured and it's shown to you. It gets analyzed and you get the results as your personal analyst for your business and how you're working. It sounds simple because it is simple. And simple is what founders who have a lot of work to do and they have a lot of weight on their back, that is what they need. Something simple that works. Here is the one thing that I want you to live with. All of the founders that you admire, all of the people that you see and you see how they work and how they execute and you wish you were like that, they don't have more hours. They have the same time. We all have the same 24 hours of the day. The same 365 days in a year. So how is it that they're executing in that way? Well, the problem is that we don't want to admit that. But it is that those founders, they do a daily commitment to make sure that certain distractions do not interrupt their environment. And they make sure that those distractions don't come in while they're doing their most important work. That is the commitment that separates the average founders from those who succeed. That is the truth. And it is a reality that is uncomfortable because we don't want to admit that we're doing something wrong. But it is the truth, and I had to admit that. I've done it, and you've done it, and you are doing it right now. But you can change that. You can change that with Vision. Because the daily commitment that we all have to do is that these distractions are not gonna interrupt my most important hours of the day, which is to work. They will not be an inconvenience. They will not stop me from achieving the things that I want to achieve. Execution is discipline every single day. That's what I want you to live with. And that is what Vision is meant to give you. I'm launching Vision at the beginning of September. And if you're a founder who recognizes those faults, who recognizes that these things are affecting us, click the link below and you can join the waitlist to get exclusive access to Vision and a free trial. And up until then, keep working and keep making that daily commitment to not let distractions infect our work environment.